This week I'm in the UK's smallest city, St David's in Pembrokeshire, to explore this beautiful part of South Wales and to find out more about its saintly connections. Welcome to Songs of Praise. In today's programme, I meet the new Bishop of St David's, the first female bishop in Wales, to find out all about her city's famous saint and the special well that sprang up the night he was born.
It was a healing well throughout the early centuries in the Middle Ages, and I think people still come to it on pilgrimage and for prayer.
Claire McCollum meets a group of city-based children making a pilgrimage to the cathedral.
St. David was a man who was spreading the word of Jesus around in Wales.
And to celebrate this glorious coastline, we have a special performance of one of the UK's favourite hymns from our very own Catherine Jenkins. With a population of just over 1,000, St David's is surrounded by the stunning Pembrokeshire coastline, and right at its heart is its majestic cathedral. Our first hymn pays tribute to not just St David, but to all this nation's saints. year the 129th Bishop of St David's was installed, and Joanna Pemberthy made history by becoming the first female bishop in Wales. With St David's Day earlier this week, I met Bishop Joanna on the coastal path just outside the city. Bishop Joanna, the place where we're stood now, what's the significance of this site?
Well, this is really special because this chapel, ruined now, but was built on the site that's reputed to be the birthplace of St David, where St Non gave birth to St David.
Non, like her son David, also became a saint, and a legend from her time involves this nearby well.
St Non was giving birth, she needed water, and the Lord opened the ground and the spring sprung. And it was a healing well throughout the early centuries and the Middle Ages, and I think people still come to it on pilgrimage and for prayer. Our St David's Day celebrations begin at the well, where I bless people with the water from the well.
Why do we celebrate St David's Day? What were his achievements?
He was an amazing man. I mean, he lived a religious life, but he wasn't just stuck in his community. He took the gospel out across Britain. And there are many, many places where churches are still dedicated to him. Yeah.
As a Welsh Christian, is St David's story something that inspires you?
Yes, very much. And not because he was a holy person a long time ago, but because, especially in the festival at St David's Day, when his bones in their casket are there in the cathedral for people to pray in front of. And it reminds me he was a human being. He's not just this plaster saint from a long time ago. He was a real human being that made a difference in other people's lives in his day. And that makes me think that we too, although perhaps we won't be St David, but nevertheless we too, as we open ourselves to the love of God, can be transforming in our own communities.
Is that something you hope to do in terms of changing people's life for the better in your role as the first female bishop?
Yes,
in Wales?
Yes, I would hope that part of my episcopacy would be encouraging every person to know their own uniqueness and to know that they themselves have something that can be offered to their communities, their families, and be channels for the transforming love of God. Yes.
So on a day like today, what for you would be the perfect hymn to sing next?
Well, when I first started taking my faith seriously, I came across a Psalm 139, and where that amazing thing, that God knows us intimately, God, you've searched me and you know me. And I think that just sums up what it is to be a Christian. You don't have to impress God. God knows you from the top to the bottom in your inmost heart and loves you for who you are.